Hey guys, welcome to the garage, and today we're going to do some service on my Spec Miata. We're going to go racing this weekend, and I got to get the car ready to do it. The number one thing that we're going to do is an oil change. It's pretty straightforward on a Mazda Miata, and even though this is a race car, it's still the same as a regular old Miata. So we're going to get to that right now. I've got the basic things necessary right here. We've got your oil. I've got an actual honest-to-goodness Mazda oil filter. They are still regarded as the best that are out there. Obviously, I've got a drain pan. I've got the car up on the wheels, the wheel dollies right now, just because it's been really easy to move it around the garage that way. But it's pretty straightforward. If you've never seen a Spec Miata before, it's actually exactly what it sounds like. It is a Mazda Miata. This one is a this is a 2000, a year 2000 car, 1.8 liter car. And we built it last year. It's got a race engineering engine inside of it. I get a lot of help from my buddies over at Panic Motorsports in Columbia, South Carolina. I highly recommend both of those companies if you need stuff. We run on Toyo tires in NASA. I'm a National Autosport Association guy. Inside the car, you'll see that it's completely gutted. I've got a racing seat and harnesses. I've got a driven steering wheel on there. I've got a TrackMate data acquisition system, and it still runs the factory transmission inside of it. And it's it's a pretty cool little setup. It's all gutted out. Of course, the steering wheel's removable too. That'll help you get in and out of there. At the back of the car, this car originally had spoilers on it. We're not allowed those, so we had to pull those out and put some plugs into it. But pretty standard issue. Mazda Miata, up underneath there, it's got a coilover suspension. It has, I've got my releases here for both fuel and for the trunk. You can see inside the trunk. I've got fuel pressure regulators over there. The battery is back over there, and some wiring for the data system. But that's really pretty much it. I mean, it's a straightforward Mazda Miata. The basics on these cars is that we put coilover suspension on it. We've upgraded the brakes with better pads and better fluid. And stainless steel lines, but really that's pretty much it. So there's the quick walk around on the car. We're going to start changing the oil. I'm going to get the hood popped and start draining the old oil. That's up first. See the mirror right there? Go directly below the mirror, right there. That is where you jack it from. So you get your jack right on the pinch weld. You can see this is a race car, so I'll admit the pinch weld's a little bit beat up on here. But we'll just kind of get this thing right onto that. She's she's a working car. You don't have to be perfect on it. Let me set this down. Now that's going to get the front tires up off of I guess all of the tires off of the wheel stands right there, which is cool, because we'll want these out of the way here. That guy there. I'm going to get this wheel dolly out of the way, and then nice and simple, right on the jack stand right there. That's that guy. So we've got it on the jack stand. We're gonna go, let's see, can I get it up one more? I don't think so. That's about it. All right, that's good. Drop it down like that. Hooray. We'll go around, we'll do the other side and get this car up in the air. We've made it up underneath the car. That's always a fun place to be, right? We got the important things here. I've got a flashlight so we can see what the heck we're doing. I've got an oil drain pan, and I have a 17mm wrench. This is going to get on the drain plug. And then let's see if we can show you what we're looking at here. There. Right up to that guy right there. There's our drain plug. So we're going to pull this thing out and then drain the oil out of this whole guy. Out of the way for right now. There we go. Loosen up. You also notice I've got the rubber gloves on. These things are a lifesaver when you're working around oil and fluids and gook like that. So I'm just going to unscrew this thing by hand. Move this drain pan over just a little bit. And by the way, I ran the car for just a couple moments, a minute or so before we got up underneath here, just to kind of warm that oil out. Now, on the race car, I actually change my oil for every race weekend. Now, that's not something you obviously have to do on your street car. I only put about 200 miles a weekend on a car, on the race car. But if you're doing this on your Mazda Miata, your regular street car Miata, if you're using regular old dinosaur oil, I recommend doing it every, 3,000 miles or so. If you use synthetic on the street, I use synthetic in my street car. I go every 5,000 miles on that one. We're going to let this thing drain, and as soon as that's done, then we're going to go after the oil filter. Expert tip. Open up the oil filter cap while you're draining the oil. It helps the oil drain a little bit faster. That's this guy right there. Now, one of the things that we can do to make it easier to get at the oil filter is to get this wheel out of the way. Now, since we're also going to do some more prep for the car for the race, we're actually going to take all 4 wheels and tires off. And help that out, my friend, the impact, thanks to our buddies over at Cobalt Tools. Yeah, buddy. Makes you feel like you're in NASCAR. Well, except that I've only got 4 lug nuts on this one. And I do it a whole lot slower. But that said, it helps an awful lot. Alright, now it's time to get back up underneath the car here and put the drain plug back in. It is all drained out here. Let's see if I can show you what I got going here. What am I looking at? Nice and cleaned up in there. There's all that. Get that clean. Let's put a wrench on this. There. Alright, that's nice right there. That's good. By the way, that's all you need. I mean, for all the people that sit there and argue about torque things on a... No, come on now, that's ridiculous here. Seriously, it's just an oil filter. So now this is the one that's going to make a big mess here. I'm going to go up for the oil filter, and it is right up in here, and it's going to be a little, I got a hand on it. Oh, come on now. Oh, baby. There we go. That actually isn't that big of a mess compared to what I've done in the past. Alright. There's the old filter. Dump the oil out of that thing. Nice. So, now, while I got you here, let's see if we can do this without completely destroying the place here. So there's the old filter. Get a little oil off my hands here. Let's try this. Let's see what's going on. New filter. I just realized that I'm working on a Mazda while wearing a Dodge sweatshirt. I know, right? Alright. Here is the brand new filter. It comes with a little plastic on the top there. You want to get that thing pulled off. Like that. This can go there. Old dirty one can go inside of that box, so we can throw that all away. That over here off to the side. Now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm actually going to pre-fill the oil filter with a little bit of oil. Now, I'm not going to fill it all the way up because to put it on the car here, it has to go on the engine sideways. So it's going to spill some of it out. But whatever I can put inside of here, I will. And that just helps from dry starting. So I'm just going to give a little like that. I'm going to go about halfway on it right there. And then give it a second to kind of soak into the oil filter here, soak into the element inside of that. Now the cool thing about the Mazda filters is that they've got a proper valve that's inside of there. Not all aftermarket oil filters have that, which is one of the reasons that I'm a big fan of using the Mazda ones on my race car. I'm pretty specific about that. My engine is it's a professionally built race engine. Yes, it's a factory engine, but it's got its tolerances tightened up within the rules, of course. But even on a street car, I highly recommend that you give this thing a little, give it a little love that way. So now the next thing I'm going to do is put a little oil on my fingertip. Just put a little bit on there, and then I'm going to run it around the rubber gasket, the rubber seal that's right here. Then I'm going to crawl back under the car, screw that thing on, tighten that down, and ready to put more oil back in the engine. All right, it's time to refill this thing, and I'm putting in Mobil 1 5W30. That's the stuff, man. I mean, that's, you can sit there and argue all you want about all the big name brand, fancy brand oils, and they're all great. Please don't get me wrong. But I've never had an issue running this stuff at all, ever. And I mean, I run this car at 7,000 RPM all day long, like it's its job. And I've never had an oil-related issue with anything. So I'm going to put this in right now. This is, hang on here, let's turn this so you can see what the heck what I'm doing here. The capacity on this is 4 quarts. I'm going to put 3.5 in, check it, and then see where we go from there. So that's just a little over 1 quart in this jug, and then I'm going to grab the other one out. And in just a quick second, we'll be right back and finished up with this oil change. All right, it's time for us to check the oil level now. We're going to get the dipstick in. All the way in. Pull this guy all the way out. Take a look at you right there. I know it's awfully hard to see here in the dark, but I promise you that is right on the money. It's exactly where we want it to be. Right in between the low and the full. The fill and the low mark, whatever it is. Full and add, whatever it is. I know what it is. It's in the middle. That's where I want it to be. And that is pretty much it. So that's going to do it, you guys. No matter you're working on a Spec Miata like this or just a regular old Mazda Miata, the oil change procedure is super, super simple, and you can save yourself a lot of money and take a little bit of pride in doing it yourself, all right? Now, this thing's ready to race. Let's go to the track.